Coming up, a violent start to the 4th of July holiday celebrations. 30 people were shot in Baltimore as police continue to search for their suspects. And an observant visitor at an amusement park spots a cracked support beam holding up a roller coaster, shifting as it zooms by. The rundown starts now. This is Straight Arrow News, bringing you unbiased, straight facts. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. In Baltimore, a mass shooting at a holiday celebration left 2 young people dead and another 28 people shot and injured. Just after midnight on Sunday, 2 people started shooting into an annual block party. An 18 and 20-year-old were shot and killed. More than 24 others were shot and injured. Many of them were minors, with the youngest being just 13 years old. Police say they are still looking for suspects. The mayor of Baltimore spoke at a press conference, calling the shooters cowards and promising justice for the victims.
This was a reckless, cowardly act of violence that has taken 2 lives and altered many more. And as I said earlier, we will find those who are responsible, and we will not stop until we do so.
The violence wasn't confined to Baltimore. In Chicago, 31 people were shot, 3 fatally over the weekend. In Wichita, Kansas, 7 people were shot and 2 more were injured when they were trampled in a nightclub. In Washington, D.C., police are searching for the people responsible for setting off multiple explosive devices around the city. 3 businesses were targeted, including a supermarket, a Nike store, and a bank. No injuries were reported. Violent protests continued in France over the weekend following the deadly police shooting of a teenager. Police fatally shot the teenage driver while he was attempting to drive away from police during a traffic stop. Angry crowds launched fireworks at police and set fire to France, largely in Paris. Dozens of police officers have been injured. More than 500 vehicles and 74 buildings have been set on fire, along with more than 800 fires set on public roads. Hundreds of protesters have been arrested daily since the shooting last Tuesday. The policeman who fired the fatal shot has been placed under formal investigation for murder. He has apologized to the family. And the grandmother of the 17-year-old who was killed called for calm and asked for protesters to end the rioting. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will travel to China later this week, scheduled to meet with Chinese officials on a range of issues, including U.S. concerns about a new Chinese counter-espionage law that could potentially have consequences on U.S. firms overseas. This trip comes just 2 weeks after Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Beijing in another attempt to shore up battered relations between the world's 2 largest economies. Heavy rains over the weekend flooded the streets of Chicago, prompting NASCAR officials to even postpone a race because of the hazardous conditions. Cars were stranded as underpasses flooded. Basements across the Chicago area had inches of rainwater rush in. Some areas received more than 5 inches of rain on Sunday, breaking previous records in the city. Meanwhile, 110 million Americans are under extreme weather alerts as a scorching heat wave is spanning across the country, from the West Coast to the South and Southeast. But for many Americans, the steamy heat sweeping the U.S. isn't stopping them from enjoying the 4th of July holiday weekend.
I mean, everyone's sweating, everyone's glistening. It's really very hot out here, heat indexes, heat warnings. As you know, we had a pretty cool spring, and so it feels like just within the last week, it's kind of just smacked us and hit us pretty hard for the holiday weekend.
A North Carolina amusement park shut down one of its largest attractions over the weekend after a visitor spotted a cracked support beam on a roller coaster ride. The visitor, Jeremy Wagner, took a video of the roller coaster in action where he described the beam as moving 2 to 4 feet when the coaster's car full of people sped past it on the track. Wagner reported the incident, and the amusement park shut the ride down immediately for repairs. An inspection is taking place, and the ride will be closed indefinitely until the issue is fixed. Twitter users will now be limited in how many tweets they can view per day. The temporary restrictions are described as an attempt to prevent unauthorized scraping of data, something that was slowing down and glitching the platform for users. Here's the new daily limits. Unverified accounts not paying for the platform can read 1,000 posts per day. Verified accounts will be able to scroll through 10,000, according to Musk. The restrictions could result in users being locked out of Twitter for the day after scrolling through their limit. Thousands of users ran into that issue on Saturday. These are your top stories. Thanks for joining us on The Rundown. We're on a mission to bring back trustworthy journalism by serving only you, not an agenda. Be sure to check out more of our work at straightarrownews.com. And you can also find the latest Rundown episodes available as a podcast on all major podcast platforms. We will be off tomorrow in observance of the 4th of July. We hope you enjoy the holiday, and we'll see you back here Wednesday. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.